Okay, I have 10 o'clock. I will call the Harrison County Commission meeting for Wednesday, February 9th to order. That is 2022. Mr. Hinkle, are you on Zoom? Commissioner Hinkle. I see his name.
Yes.
Okay, would you rise and join us in the invocation?
Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for our lives and our opportunity to come together and join in on the governing process. Father, may we have justice for the strong and mercy for the weak. Above all, do things the way that you feel that they need to be done. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before you be seated, I would like to have a moment of silence for Joe Trupo, who passed away this week. Thank you. Thank you. And for those of you who don't know, he was a longtime state trooper here in Harrison County and was the sheriff and also a U.S. Marshal.
Mr. Roll.
Okay. We have public comment. Anybody signed up to speak publicly?
Mr. Parker is signed up first.
Okay. Would you please state your name and where you're from, please?
William Andrew Parker, great state of West Virginia. Thank you for allowing me to appear during your public comment period. Again, I have requested to be on the agenda, and evidently the information I was provided last week was incorrect, because I sent an email, and again, I was not afforded an opportunity for an appointment, a scheduled appointment. But I don't know what the issue may be. Anyway, we'll cover the matters during the public comment period. You can respond if you want or if you don't want. That's your prerogative. First item relates to the ARP funds, American Rescue Plan funds. Your October 6th agenda 2021, item 16 was the topic: consider review, discuss, consider appropriation for the American Rescue Plan funds. And which I requested certain information under a Freedom of Information Act. And then from the same meeting, relay a review, discuss, consider appropriation for the American Rescue Plan funds. Commissioner Treetoss presented funding request. Commissioner Hinkle called point of order and advised that the agenda was not properly stated. Hinkle moved to postpone until after the work session. Commissioner Hinkle voted in favor. Commissioner Thomas and Commissioner Treetoss voted against. Motion failed. Treetoss moved to approve funds with an amendment of funds going to Shortline instead of Wallace. Commissioner Thomas and Commissioner Treetoss voted in favor. And then the United States Commissioner Treetoss voted against, which is an error. Motion carried up. Probably Commissioner Hinkle voted against, but don't know that. I didn't receive any funding requests that were mentioned, if there were any, in my Freedom of Information outline. I did receive a one-page that listed Greater Harrison 8 million, Sun Valley 2.5 million, Bridgeport 300,000, Clarksburg 300,000, Anmore 100,000, Lost Creek 30,000 plus 70,000 general fund, 026 community improvement, Lumberport 100,000, Neverport 100,000, Salem 100,000, Shinston 300,000, Stonewood 100,000, West Milford 100,000, and I reckon that's Shortline PSD 50,000, and revenue loss of $983,690. And then there's some others if there's no committed project as of September 23, etc., down through there. I don't know if these are the funding request that was referred to. It's not in your minutes of how the money was allocated. So you may want to go back and correct that at some point. I don't know if you could distribute money without allocation being in the official minutes. Again, the funding request mentioned in the minutes, I didn't receive copies of, if there are any. And your contract with your consultant outlines that you will review those, Mr. Spellman. The contract is dated January 27th. Of course, this action was back in October. I think he was approved back in July or August. I don't know why it takes 7 months to get a contract. There was one funding request I did receive a copy of, an email at least from the Hepzibah PSD. I don't know if they were covered in those funding requests or not. But as it gets to Mr. Spellman, you do have at least a consulting agreement in place now. To my knowledge, it was never presented to the commission for approval. Ms. Peace signed it on behalf of the commission. I don't know if the commission has even seen this consulting agreement. And I did receive a couple of invoices as it relates to Mr. Spellman's work. Some which falls outside the scope or work outlined in this agreement, and some which is pretty vague, but evidently he's performing work outside the scope of your agreement. One of the last items I have deals with the canvass procedure. Statements of ballots used I requested from all the precincts, which I received, and I appreciate that. One copy was just evidently a little small, hard to read, so I gave up on that at this point. I'll try and enlarge it in the future, but then the statements of ballots used for each precinct, I finally received those, but few items as it relates. The statements of ballots used list 91 provisional ballots that should have been accounted for during your canvass procedure. Your, if I remember correctly, I was there for the canvass procedure. You had 79 provisional ballots. 73 of those were run through the machine and counted, and 6 were not, to the best of my recollection. I think your paperwork, you noted 72 provisional ballots in your paperwork, which doesn't correspond with your machine count. So there's an issue there, as well as 91 versus 79. I don't know how many poll workers were at each location or should have been at each location. But according to your documents, you had 17 precincts with 5, 26 precincts with 4, 20 precincts with 3, and 3 precincts with 2, according to the signatures on your statements of ballots used. Maybe that's correct, I don't know. But you have a number of precincts, just in a 15-20 minute review I did last evening, that the ballots should have had more votes than what you came up with doing your canvass according to the statements of ballots used. And the commission took no action to verify the number of ballots in any precinct. To my knowledge, I was there through the whole process. For example, precinct 10 shows 154 express votes, but then it also shows them unused, so I don't know which one's correct. Precinct 28 did not balance the express votes. Precinct 33, 34, 46 also did not. Precinct 46 had 178 at one point and also 175, so there's a difference of 3 votes there somewhere. Where, you know, question is, where are the votes? Precinct 50, express vote and paper optical scan not balanced at all. That's one precinct that showed, I think, 19 provisional ballots, which doesn't seem correct. Maybe it is. Again, the commission took no action to verify if it was correct or not. Precinct 51, 120 express votes and balanced 115. Precinct 52, express votes stubs and used were not balanced, the ballots. Precinct 59, express votes, shows 174 people voted, 174 stubs being signed. And then it shows 10 ballots being counted. Not sure where the other 164 ballots may be or if they were voted at all. Precinct 110, 240 express votes used, no balance. 205 paper ballots used, no balance. Again, there's 450 votes there, or say the poll workers are saying went through there, not coming out on your count. Not sure which is correct. Precinct 123, express votes, no accounting. Precinct 128, express votes, no accounting. Precinct 130 shows 158 early votes used versus 0 in the count later on. Precinct 138 shows 88 early votes used versus 0 later on. Precinct 137 shows 81 early votes used versus 0 later on. That's the purpose of the canvass, is to account for the ballots. You failed in your obligation and duties. So the question is, did those ballots get cast? Are they in the boxes, or was it an incorrect form completed by the poll workers? You don't know the answer to that without verification. You didn't do your job. Thank you. I'd appreciate, what is the procedure to get on the agenda? I've tried 3 weeks in a row and failed. So what is the process? Or is there a process? Maybe I should ask Ms. Pease, she's making the decisions on getting on the agenda evidently.
Mr. Parker, looking back,
Laura?
Not allowed to speak without permission.
Whatever schedule, if you want to have Mr. Parker schedule a meeting with you, you're welcome to do so. Your office's door is always open, and you work well more than 40 hours a week. Thank you.
How do I get on the Harrison County Commission agenda? Other people are appearing on the agenda today.
for a funding request.
I can always ask for money if you'd like. It's not a problem. Not anybody can appear on your agenda.
Mr. Parker, we'll discuss at a later time.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to
Okay,
the
we will
commission.
discuss it at a later time. If you won't
When?
listen to her. I don't know at this point in time. I'd like to move on with this. You've been speaking for 11 minutes.
Okay,
Greg, you like that, do you?
I've been trying.
And we need to move on. These gentlemen were scheduled for 10:05.
I know, I've requested 3 weeks, 3 weeks of requests to be on your agenda and have been denied. I know you might not like what I have to say, which is fine. I don't know if you have information you're trying to cover up or what the situation is. But I would appreciate knowing what the Harrison County Commission's procedure is for getting on the agenda. I will be glad to meet with Ms. Pease, but I expect the county commission to honor a citizen's request to be on the agenda. If I need to get a surrogate from Harrison County to appear with me, I will. If you only listen to voters in Harrison County, whatever the case may be. No answer. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mr. Edwards has signed up to speak next, but Mr. Roy and Mr. Coffindaffer did have an appointment at 10:05.
Are you guys okay
Is
with?
that okay?
Okay. I wondered. Bill?
I'm Bill Coffindaffer, Supervisor for West Fork Conservation District. This is Mr. Jim Roy, West Virginia Conservation Agency, and we are here to request a continued funding for the operation and maintenance of the seven Salem Fort flood control dams. We do appreciate the support we've received in the past, and we're looking for that support to continue. I will at this time ask Mr. Roy to present the information from the Conservation Agency on the support that has been given to the dams and what the money is used for. Jim?
I'm Jim Roy with West Virginia Conservation Agency. The agency has 170 flood control dams, high hazard dams in West Virginia. In this area, we have 7 sound fort dams. They were the second dams built in the nation as flood control dams. They are over 50 years old. They have been doing an excellent job. They have been well maintained, and thanks to the county commission and the agency, we have been able to use the funding in a proper manner to maintain these dams. The county commission has sponsored the dams for $8,000 each year, matched by the West Virginia Conservation Agency. The back page shows work that we have done through these dams and the expenditures of the money. We would request that the county commission continue to sponsor for $8,000 each year.
Move to approve.
Okay, motion moved. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Thank you, gentlemen.
Commissioner. Thank you, Commissioner Hinkle. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Okay, Mr. Edwards. And I'm sorry, I did not recognize Mayor Kowalczyk from Shinnston and Chad. Sorry, I apologize.
First of all, I want to thank you for the time allowed to speak. I just wanted to come and talk about the teamwork that we've been between the county and Shinnston. We really appreciate the gravel at the head of the rail trail that we purchased, and I have the receipts of all the gravel that we purchased, and that's in here. The county helped us by spreading it around, and I just want everybody to know that that trailhead is very important to our trail. That is a drop-off point for many people, women with baby strollers, elderly people park down there. So we did that. We took care of that area, and we're very grateful for the cooperation. And I hope that we can continue that spirit of cooperation. With the county's help, we're going to be hopefully getting, we will be getting water, clean water, good water to Lumberport. And that is a team effort. And I just hope that we can continue on that path of working together, all of us, the county and all the cities. That's what I'm all about. So I just wanted to come and say thank you, and I look forward to working with you in the future.
Appreciate that. Do you wish to say anything, Mayor?
Yeah, if I could, I just wanted to speak to the relationship that we have with our current commission. We appreciate that relationship. We are looking at a joint water project with Lumberport, and I hope that our relationship can get us through that, and we can work together to do what's right for Northern Harrison County. So, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Mayor. Okay, that's it for public comment, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Number 2 is consent agenda. What's the pleasure? Motion to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Susan, did you give people on Zoom an opportunity?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I did not. Thank you for letting me know that. Is there anyone on Zoom that wishes to speak publicly? Anyone on Zoom wish to speak publicly? Number 2, we moved the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, hearing none, motion carried. Number 3, payroll changes A and B.
Move to approve A and B.
Okay, motion's been made to approve A and B. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Minutes and/or amended minutes from January 26, 22 meeting and Board of Review and Equalization from February 01, 22, A and B. What's the pleasure?
Move to approve as presented.
Motion's been made to approve. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 5, requisitions, purchase orders, invoices. A, under the vendor requisition list of payments. What's the pleasure?
Motion approved.
Motion has been made to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 6, exonerations, corrective tickets, joint property applications. It appears we only have exonerations. What's the pleasure?
Motion approved, A, please.
Motion to approve A. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 7, consideration of approval of a project fund requisition for the payment of costs associated with the project to be financed from proceeds of a Series 2019 bonds issued for the Charles Point Economic Opportunity Development District Series 2021 A and B, Development District Number 3, White Oaks Project Number 2, and Series 2008A, Charles Point Project Number 2, North Land Bay Improvements. It appears we have 3 requisitions, A, B, and C. What's the pleasure?
Motion approved, A through C.
Motion has been made to approve A through C. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Yeah.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, number 8, it appears there are no requisitions for the general services building. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Number 9, review, discuss, consider monthly minutes, financial information from various boards, committees, and public service districts, A and B. What's the pleasure?
Motion approved, please.
Motion to approve 9A and B.
Mhm.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 10, review, discuss, consider permission to travel for Charlotte Schaefer Planning Department Mountain State Land Use Academy Conference 2022, Pipeston Resort State Park, May 17th and 18th.
Motion approved, travel.
Motion to approve the travel. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Number 11, consider for adoption a resolution in order which 1 approves the amendment of A, the county commission's resolution and order dated November 8th, the district creation order, which created the Charles Point Economic Development Opportunity Development District, the district, and B, the project plan for the district in order to permit obligations issued by the county commission for funding projects in the district, financing obligations. To have terms of 30 years from the date of issuance of such financing obligations, and 3, removes from proposed amendments to the district certain order and the project plan for the district, the December 31st, 2052 termination date for the district, which was included in the application for such amendments that was submitted to the West Virginia Department of Economic Development.
Move to approve and have the president fix her signature.
Motion's been made to approve and fix the president's signature. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 12, review, discuss, consider creation of Economic Development Administration Fund number 108.
Move to approve.
Motion's been made to approve number 12. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Madam President.
Okay.
So Susan, have we got the information yet? If the $1.3 million has been obtained, that will be the matching grant money.
That I don't know.
I'm not aware, maybe Commissioner Hinkle knows.
Do you know if they've got the loan, Mr. Hinkle?
They're working through all that, but this only has to do with so that we have an account for when the money comes through, so we can tell them that it's going into a designated account. At this point, that account can carry a zero balance until it's all worked out.
So we do not have the $1.3 million from the grant matching money.
No, it will not come in until all the paperwork is signed and the lease is finalized.
Let me ask you something. The initial cost for the work once it starts, will it be since it's a reimbursement grant, will that be the county that fronts that up front? Region 6, who will pay the initial cost up front?
I think that'll be Region 6 controls the funding, Patsy. They are the ones that will write up and approve all the checks.
Do you have any literature on that?
I think you'll have to get with the development court. But this is just a step in the process.
Is there anybody online from the EDA here that can answer some questions?
Maybe we need to move this and so we can get more information from the development court.
Yeah, can we table this?
Would you have a problem tabling it so Amy can come speak to us, David?
If that's what you all want to do, I'm not sure I understand the issue of just creating an account.
I just think some of these things need to be in place before we set up an account.
I think our biggest concern right now is the $1.3 million. Because, we were spoken to in October, and I think we want to make sure that the matching money's been received, Madam President, because if not, we are on the hook for that. We're approaching March for the budget. We have to know if they're going to not have that dollars, that we will have to absorb it.
I think you've gotten the agenda item sidetracked. It's just to create an account, so when money comes in, it can be deposited. If you want to put on the agenda to discuss where the development stands and the funding stands, I think that's a little different than an account. We formed accounts before we got our ARP funds. And then when that money came in, the account was there it existed to deposit the funds. All we're talking about today is, and I didn't ask for this, I think Laura was talking with them and they said we need to have a fund so we can't mix money as far as accounts goes. So if no money ever comes in, that account will always carry a zero. It doesn't commit the county to anything. It's no more than making an account to keep track of what the sheriff spends on shoes. You need to set an agenda item up that if you want to discuss where the funding is and have them come in and tell you that part of it. But I don't think this agenda item has anything to do with whether or not the county's on the hook or where we stand with the development corp on the building they're in the process of building.
I'd still like to hear some more information from Amy before we set this up. That's just.
Well, Madam President, it actually does. By creating this line item, it's going to push us up to $750,000 of federal funding, which is going to push us to a single audit. We have to be able to track from beginning to end, and we have no literature whatsoever on this grant application. So it's not really us asking the questions now, it's going to be the federal government. And see, if we don't have this on record and we don't do this right by creating this line item, that will hurt our future opportunity for federal funding, which is flourishing right now. And the last thing we want to do is miss out on that. So we do.
Laura, was this not requested by the EDA?
Yes, Amy Wilson sent me an email that she needed an ACH form filled out for to submit with her monthly reports, and that is how all this has transpired. Looking into the account and everything we realized that we had to put it on the agenda for commission to approve an account for their reports.
Yeah, let's go
No
ahead
more
and
than
take-
what we did for American rebuild money. It's the same principle.
But is this required for the loan?
Yeah, we've done it at the airport. Everything has to be tracked. But everything goes through Region 6. They just have to, they want an account, Susan, so that they know that we're not
If it goes through
commingling.
region 6, why is the county involved?
Because of the 1.3.
Yeah, I mean, they just oversee stuff. It's like the money we get for rail trails. We get the grant, but the state oversees it.
What happens if we open up this fund and the loan is not approved?
Well, it's going to be approved. The question.
I mean,
is-
it's not that it's not going to be approved or approved. If you open it up, it's just going to carry a zero balance, and then you would just make a motion to close it.
I agree with you with the zero balance, David. I think the concern we have here is the $1.3 million hole in our budget is going to create if we don't know exactly who's going to fund that 20. Well, in the minutes, it was supposed to be a 20% match. It ended up turning out to be a 33% match. So we have a lot of questions right now.
Nobody can make us fund that balance.
Well, they absolutely
You can walk away from the loan.
We can walk away from the loan. We can't walk away. We've already approved, and we are, as a county, on the hook for the $1.3 million. If the EDC does not ante up and go after the money that they promised they would and receive it, the taxpayers of Harrison County are on the hook for that if that loan is not approved. And we have seen no documentation of any appropriation of $1.3 million. None. That 1.3 million is falling on somebody. And believe me when I tell you, the grant application people could care less who it is. They just want their money.
Well, I'm not going to argue the fact. I know that the ones that I've been involved with, I think we're making more out of it than what it is.
Oh, no, I agree with you. I believe everything's going to flow through smoothly, just like you do. We just have to make sure going into budget season that we don't have a line item that we don't have accounted for.
Well, if you don't put it in, then it's not going to be in your budget to account for it. It's either going to carry a zero balance or it's going to carry something that you can move money at a later point.
And the bottom line is, what's the harm in waiting to get Amy here possibly, hopefully next week, and we can settle everything next week?
I don't think she's going to tell you anything different about it doing the account because she needs an account number to do her reporting, which the feds require. And
Well,
we're
when
not
she
supplying
comes-
that.
When she comes, she can bring us the documentation where Blue Rock has committed. So that way, because you needed a second entity to apply for this grant application. It couldn't just be one entity. It had to be two entities. And we don't have any literature on where they've committed anything on paper either. We don't have any information whatsoever, Dave, here at the Harrison County Courthouse. Let me ask you this, David. Does the corp have $1.3 million in a nest egg if they should not be able to obtain the loan? And that way we could use their money since it's their grant as opposed to our money?
I think between what the corp has and what is in the other for development purposes, I think they'd be awful close.
Could you request that information so that we could see their bank accounts so we know that we won't be hit with this as a commission? Motion to table.
Motion's been made to table number 12 until next week. Does that work?
Please.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
I'm not going to fight with you guys about this. Go ahead.
And for the record, David, there is no fight. We just want clarification.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think you're asking for clarification on something that's not an agenda item that was just a simple vote. We make up accounts all the time. I don't know why
This
this
is a
one.
fund. It's not an account. This is a fund. There has to be an order prepared for this. So.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to fight. That's not what I'm here to do. Want more information? Okay, number 13, review, discuss, consider entering into a memorandum of understanding with Harrison County Community Corrections in relation to the lot at the corner of Washington and 3rd Street. Who wants to speak to that? Does anybody want to speak to that?
I'd like to make a motion to table that till the commission can sit down and discuss it in a work session.
And I have no problem with that. If I could just give a real quick overview of the fact that, yeah, this was just an email that I sent to the commissioners making this offer. I still have to take it to the board. They have to approve it, but I've been charged with kind of finding us some parking in our audit reports from our grantee or grantor. The only deficiency we ever have is at parking. So I'm just trying to rectify that and making the offer that we would pay for the paving of that lot and then split it down the middle. We'll take half if the county happens. It's not and to Commissioner Hinkle's question, it's not really a pressing matter. I just want to make sure that we're in the forefront as we go forward, because obviously the building has to be finished and then they'll have to exit that, long before. So the building will be open before this even takes place. I just want to make sure that that offer is out there. And if you all are receptive, I'll take it to my board and get the approval for it. Just putting the offer out there and we need some parking.
I mean, maybe-
basically 4 or 5 spots because the people who drove.
And go to the board and then come back. With
Yeah,
we can
let's
make
go
a
ahead and
plan.
make the motion to approve and move to your board here.
Well, why doesn't he go to his board and come back?
There's a motion to table presented.
Yeah, we don't need to table this, because that way he can get the ball rolling. And then that way, if your board agrees, then we don't have to come back. Okay, we're coming.
Then I would like to discuss use before this is approved.
We got a motion to table on the floor. Did you make a motion to approve?
Motion.
Okay, motion has been made to approve. Any discussion? Now,
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am. I think that if we're going to pave that parking lot, it needs to be strictly for county deputies, state police, etc., so we can control who parks in it. Get all of the police department and processor vehicles off the street, open the street back up to public parking, and then we'll be able to control that parking. And I think at some point that lot, when it's built, needs to be engineered to potentially go to 2 levels, but definitely if we leave that as a public lot, we will never have any control. People come and go from it, but don't have anything to do with community corrections. And I don't know how you'll enforce it. So that's why I think that there's more discussion and needs to be looked at for parking for use of the public around the new annex, whether it's purchasing more property or understanding that the annex will be parking will be strictly for public and no county employees.
If I can just say, mine was never for any county employee. I just need 4 or 5 spots for folks who are coming to drug screeners or there for 15 minutes in and out. And as far as I don't care what the county does with their spots. I'm not in that, even if we put a fence down the middle. I just need the spots for ours. And if this doesn't work, then, same thing. I'll go.
Because you're getting dinged in your audits because you
And
don't have
we just
parking.
need 4 or 5 spots for folks that are drug
Wow.
screening. because it
I
takes
want to
longer-
see parking spaces for the public. I want the
It seems-
public to
It
have
takes them longer
spaces
to
to
find a
come.
parking spot than it does to urine screening.
And I think we can figure out something.
Yeah, Gary, have your board come back to us with a great idea, and we're happy to
And
move
I'm
forward.
thankful for it. So.
Yeah, go ahead and
Okay, any further discussion?
Again, I think from what Gary's saying, I think that if it's going to be if he's got 4 or 5 people that need to come and see him, he has the income level to generate and pay for 4 or 5 spots reserved strictly for his people to come in and take testing and rent those off of Allenback. And then leave the other parking lot strictly for public parking to go in and out of the GSA. Or as I said, get the police cars off the street and open up parking that the city of Clarksburg can enforce when people are extending and leaving their cars all day. I just think that before we jump into this, there's a lot of options to look at.
So the motion has been made to approve. And all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No,
Okay, motion carried. Number 14, review, discuss, consider elected official approve that actions taken by the Nutter Fort Volunteer Fire Department followed code section 147F of the International Code of 1986, and by granting and executing this approval, the Harrison County Commission, I believe that's what that is, does not become obligated for the financial obligations of the volunteer fire department.
That is correct. We do not become financially responsible at all for this. This is part of their financing process to use tax exempt financing. They need a letter from the highest elected official in the county, and they provided all their documentation, their meeting minutes, where they had it a public meeting and had the ad in the newspaper. So all this is doing is certifying that they've met all those requirements.
move to approve and for the president to affix her signature.
Motion's been made to approve and for the president to affix the signature. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion.
Yeah.
Okay, number 15, administrators report.
Next week, Patsy, the grants department, myself, and representatives from Thrasher are going to meet and see about more grants for our PSDs, trying to get something moving there. We have a budget workshop with the auditor's office next Tuesday. I'm going to meet with Miss Wendy Madden from David McKinley's office to go over current and future projects in Harrison County. We have more board review and equalization this week, as well as next. Next Friday is the adjournment for those hearings. And as for the planning department, Charlotte has talked to the two gentlemen that are doing a great job up there, and they're going to start with a regular schedule every week of hitting different departments. So then that way they're definitely visiting all of our problem areas throughout the county, and we'll keep adding more to that. They also have a RAV4 that is not currently marked. So we are going to work on getting decals on that vehicle. So as the gentlemen are out and about, the residents can see that the Harrison County Planning Department is in their neighborhood and taking note of the nuisance properties and everything like that. Last week at the department head meeting, Peggy came up with a great idea that we're working on. She had the idea of having a calendar or a list of events on the website that we can easily post different events, including meetings from the different boards and committees, like the 911 advisory board and such. So Peggy and Mike Pizzino are working on that. So hopefully it's something that we will be seeing and using in the near future. And that is all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner's comment, number 16. Mr. Hinkle, do you have anything? Mr. Hinkle, do you have any commissioner comments? No, maybe he'll be back. Mr. Treecost?
Yeah, just two things. Laura, could you get with maybe our Mayor's Association or the city managers and see exactly the literature that you and Commission President, so you know the meetings, put a time limit on public comments, like throughout the municipality. So we want to keep the meetings flowing, and at the same time, make it clear that anyone has the right at the end of that time, with your open door policy, to meet with you one-on-one as county administrator to address any issues. And two, just a reminder to let everybody know going into budget season, this year in January, we have $3.9 million from the report sent to us from our honorable sheriff, who also represents us as treasurer. And last year at this time in 2021, we had 6.1. We are down $2.2 million from last year's pace going into our budget season. That's all I have, Madam.
Mr. Hinkle, did you have any comments?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'd just like to say that the two most important jobs that I have as a county commissioner are to bring jobs to Harrison County and to be a good steward of the county's money and resources. Economic development should be the commission's top priority, and waste of county resources should not be tolerated. While recreation projects are important, they should not be a county priority. That is the jobs of Park and Rec. The levy recently budgeted over $900,000 a year for the next 5 years for Parks and Rec. But the county also asked to get into the Parks and Rec business to compete with them to the tune of over $700,000 that they want to spend on parks if need. This county does not need 2 Parks and Rec. If you're a citizen of this county and you agreed with me, you need to make your voice heard and determine which Parks and Rec you want to support. The one that was formed in 1971 and has been getting levy money for years, or the new Parks and Rec that the Harrison County Commission started with this levy. Thank you.
That it?
Yes, ma'am.
I have none.
Motion adjourned.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
Miller time.